Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So we are discussing the RHCSA from beginning to advance. So in last class we have discussed what CLI is, how you can access your server using CLI, the other command you can run with the additional options or maybe the arguments, right? What kind of bash shells you will get, bash shell, shell, KSH shell, that is a corn shell, right? C shell, how this prompt looks like, what is the virtual console, remote access, command options, arguments, bezel. So all these stuff we have already discussed in the last video. If you are new to my channel, then I strongly recommend go with the video number one because in this we are going to discuss each and every stuff in a very detailed manner. So today I will start how the file system looks like in the Linux environment, right? In Windows, we have these drives different. You can see that C drive, D drive, E drive, and wherever you go, right, your path starts with that particular drive name. If you go to the G, then you can see that in G also like it is getting started with that G, right? But in Linux, that is not the case. In Linux, we have this forward slash, right? That is the master file system, right? Because this is the root directory which is represented by this forward slash, and this is the main entry point for each and every folders, files, directories. Usually we call directories, we don't call folders in Linux, right? Whatever the file system you are going to create, then you are mounting that file system on a particular directory. That also starts with this. So whatever the path you are going to start, we have to put this forward slash, right? So it is unlike Windows, there are no drive letters like C, D, E something. So this is the way that you can see it is a root file system, and under root file system we have all these file systems and these directories are present. So each and every directory has a different purpose, so that we will discuss in this like what these directories can do for. Let me go to the server. So here you can see this is the file system looks like lsblk. We understood that there is a command called lsblk which gonna list that how many disk you have and what all partition you have made on those. And df-h is the something the disk file it is giving you that okay how many file systems you have created and where those file systems are mounted on your system. So that's what that is information. Apart from that, we have something called tree, right? So tree is a command which lists your file system in a tree like manner. If you don't have this tree, so you can simply install this tree command from your repository, and that we have already discussed, like your how your system is. You can register your system, right? So I am not root as of now, so obviously it will not gonna work. So let me cancel this. So I am gonna run this. So let me put the file system name. So what I'm saying is level 1 depth, right? So level 1 means that it will just give me the that. So level 2, if you see, right, if that subdirectory also have few something, then it will just show, right? But that will be a huge. So we will stick to that only level 1. So it is up to you. Like if you are transacting this command against a particular file system, and you want to check okay if is there any additional file system or additional directories have created under these directories, right? You can go to the left, you can define the depth of your level, whether level 2, 3, 4, like that, right? So here you can see it is starting your root file system, and under root file system we have all these directories sitting, right? So let's see what all file system is purpose here. I am gonna discussing few top level directories. We are not going to discuss each and every, but going forward, whenever we are touching any file system or something, if required, definitely I will highlight that, like why that file system is used. Okay, so first one is the slash boot. Slash boot is something that which contains the necessary boot process file, including the kernel and grub configuration, right? So you can see that. We have these kernels, right? We have these initramfs, we have these compile, we have grub2, we have loader, right? So each and every boot related stuff is sitting under the boot directory. Then we have the dev directory, as the name suggests, it is containing the device file representing like dev sta, right? We just seen that lsblk command, and you can see that it is devst, and where it is sitting, if you go, so you can see that all these file systems are sitting here. You can see, right? Dev disk and all these sta, st1, st2, whatever the disk you gonna attach, that comes under this. Then we have the proc. It is a kind of runtime directory, a virtual file system that exposes real-time information about the running process and the kernel, right? Because if I show you, so you can see that whatever these numbers you can see here, right? These are the current running process. So number one is the systemd process, right? Don't worry about these command. I will show you once we have this, right? So this is the command, right, which is something running as a uh, PID1, right? So that is, or whatever that you are running here, right? Let's say ps-ef. So I'm just running. So these are the command. You can see that, right? One, it is systemd. These are the kernel threads, right? So once we discuss these process and everything in that class, we will discuss the each and every property, every these strings, what are those meaning. But as of now, this proc is handling or having all these runtime data. If you reboot, so probably it will go and it will never come back with the same PID except the P1. Then the sys directory, a newer virtual file system providing a structured interface with the driver. Let's say if you are connecting a new hardware something, right? So that will come under this, right? Generally, here. So these are everything, like if you are connecting any kind of WN or FC card, if you are a physical hardware graphics or anything, right? You have some iSCSI connection. So those information comes under this sys directory. Then we have the lib and lib64. Obviously, it is a libraries which required to run your binaries which are sitting under bin and sbin. What are those binaries? Like this ls, right? So ls is something, it is a binary. And how you can find? You can say which. So which is saying, okay, tell me what is this L, from where it is coming, and it is usr bin ls. That means this is a command which I can run here, right? So that is under bin and sbin. Next, we have the media and MNT. Like if you are connecting any kind of USBs or if you are attaching a CD, ISO file, so that will come under these two directories. OPT is a kind of optional directory, but if you are installing any third-party software, right, so it is highly recommended that you gonna use this directory, not the standard OS file systems. Then we have the bin and USR bin. As I mentioned that this is the command binaries where we can see everything is sitting like ls, cp, grep, df. So all these are basis on this. Similarly, we have the sbin. These are the system admin binaries like fdisk, reboot. I mean, to run these binaries, you at least you have some kind of privilege so that you can authenticate yourself and you can run this as a privileged user. Otherwise, these are the normal command you can run. etc is a kind of main directory for your entire system because it holds a system-wide configuration file. Whatever the configuration file you are putting, everything will come under the etc, right? Home is literally a home for each and every user. It is a personal directory for each non-root user, and this will be created under slash home and whatever the username, like we have this Ansible user here, right? So that's where it's a personal directory for this user. Root is a kind of home directory for the root user. Obviously, that is the administrator superpower user in your Linux box. Then we have the where is holding a variable data, right? Like a like kind of subsequent which is getting changed subsequently, right? Frequently, right? Like you application or your box is generating some kind of logs. So where are those logs going? Those are going under the slash where, like slash where log or any other kind of your application log, then you can put under slash where. We have slash tmp and slash var tmp. So this is a temporary storage, right? Basically, we have few internal timers, system D clean timers, which we'll gonna discuss once we discuss the system D stuff, which will take care of like when and this temporary file be must be cleaned. It is oftenly cleaned when you reboot your box, right? But that is not guaranteed that every time it will gonna clean, because it has some predefined rules, right? Where TMP, it is a kind of persistent temporary file, storage temporary file that need to survive a system reboot, right? Life cycle is this one, which is often cleared every boot or every 10 days. Where TMP is intended for a long-term temporary data. Then we have the run. Run again is a kind of similar to a slash proc, which is a runtime volatile data and a modern temporary file system tempfs or store operational data about this. I'll show you. Let's say if I just run the df-h, so here you can see that this dev tempfs, right? It is related to your device. Then we have this tempfs. This is related to your shared memory. Then this is a run directory, right? So run directory is holding your basically your runnable file system, like your journals or maybe other kind of mount, you can say, right? Like if I run this, so as of now it is not giving me anything, but if I just say mount command, so that will give you the command. So this is something that it is already uh, mounting it in this. So these are the stuff once you reboot, so everything will go away. Okay, so let's move to the next. Yeah, we have understood like this is the file structure in the Linux, right? That's how that it looks like and what all these directories are created and what is the purpose of that. But apart from that, there are two types of data, right? The nature, if I talk about the data, it will be static and dynamic. So static data will be kind of files that do not change unless the admin manually modifies them. Like you are creating your bash script, you are creating some binaries, your libraries, your documents, right? Those will not be edited or modified by any process until a system admin go and manually change those, right? So those are the ls command or any kind of manual page which we discussed yesterday. Dynamic data is something that which keeps on changing, right? Which keeps on getting appended in the file, like your application is generating logs or you are updating some packages, right? So obviously that underlying libraries are also get updated. So this kind of stuff is called a dynamic in data in nature. We have persistent and runtime that we have already discussed, like whatever you are putting under etc, home, where tmp is also kind of considered as a persistent compared to temp, but it is again it's not a fully persistent. But apart from that, the under proc or under run, that is a runtime data that is stored in RAM, and whatever the data is stored you are here, that will gonna store on the physical disk. So obviously it can survive your reboot, it can survive your if you have a power loss, right? So that will be there always. Runtime configuration, I already explained. Runtime configuration will be persistent only till the time your system is running. Like you are changing something, right? So this is a firewall command which is adding a port 80 with the TCP protocol. We'll discuss this, but this will allow only the system will not get rebooted. Once the system will get rebooted, this rule will gonna change. So how you can make those permanent? So for that, we have something called persistent configuration. So there are ways, like here we can put that slash slash permanent, right? So that way that this can survive the boot, right? Because this change will gonna return to that disk as a persistent change. So obviously it will gonna survive a reboot. Apart from that, there are two path, absolute path and relative path. Absolute path is starting with the slash, and you need to give a full path, right? You cannot give something like cd dot dot or something, right? I'll explain what are those. But whenever you talk about the absolute path, so absolute path is a complete address of a file or directory which starts with the slash. It behaves always point to the exact same location, no matter which folder you are current from, where anywhere you can run. Right? That's the beauty of the Linux, because in anywhere you can run, because you are starting your path with the slash. And slash knows, okay, now I go to where and then log and then messages or whatever. Right? So it doesn't matter from where you are running. So as long as you are starting your path with the forward slash, it knows, okay, this is absolute path and I need to go there. Then the relative path is, it is a kind of shortcut based on your current working directory. Let's say I want to go to cd where log, right? You can see I'm in log. If I want to say cd dot dot, now it doesn't know, right? Like what is the my previous directory, right? Before I explain this relative path, let's understand this. Single dot, which represent the current directory, double dot, the parent directory, one level up, right? Earlier, I was in log, right? You can see cd slash where log. When I run cd dot dot, it take me to that one level up, which is a slash war, right? But my intention was I need to go to my home directory where I was working in the home Ansible user, right? So for that, what you need to do? You need to define your full path, and now you can see I am in the full path. But if you are just using these some notations, right? So it will just transact your current location. It doesn't know, right? Because you are just simply saying dcd dot dot, right? Then probably you can go, right? But if you're saying this, it will never take you anything, right? Apart from that, tilde sign, whatever the current user you are logged in, it will directly take you to the home directory. And now you can see again, I am in my home directory, right? And cd dash means that whatever the previously you are logged in, right? It knows, okay, previously you were in the root, right? Then it will take you to the, let's say, if I go there here, and now if I go where log, right? Now, if I want to go to my home directory, you can say this or you can say this. It will take you to the previous directory wherever you were, right? Apart from that, there are few limitation for the file name length, like how long the file name you can keep. So in XFS, in most modernization rail system, you will find the XFS only, and it has that 255 bytes. Right? Because in ASCII character, what is happening is each character will gonna eat one byte, right? Let's say if I am giving some name here, so it will count this way that, okay, how many characters you have in that file name, and that will gonna check that, okay, so you can keep up to only 255 bytes. Let's try. If I just say, I'm not sure how long it will take, but let's see. I hope it is more than 255 now, but let's, because 3 is my Non-lucky number, so I will keep 4 lines. You can see, okay, there was file name too long. Can you see? So that is the limitation, right? It will not allow you more than 255. Path length is also, you can just keep whenever you are dealing with this path, right? Where log or something, that will also support only up to this much of characters, right? Byte and character, the limit is in byte, not character, while the standard ASCII character uses 1 byte each. Special symbol and emojis can take up to 4 bytes, like you are using this, or maybe you are using some kind of this one, this one, this one, this one, right? So maybe in memory those are taking much more than 1 byte, but these standard ASCII character will take only 1 byte, right? You can use in your name everything except these two special character. Apart from that, anything you can use in your file system name, in your path and everything, because these are two reserved character. One is the null character and the other is the forward slash character. Okay, so that is all about the file system. I don't think that we have the labs for this because there is nothing. Oh, we do have. Let's see. Okay, I think we are just discussing the same thing, right? It is just listing the home, sorry, the tree of your current file system, and then you have that absolute and relative path, which we already seen, right? If you don't have that permission, although you are specifying the correct path, right? But it will gonna check the permission, right? So what permission is? That brings us to our next topic. Probably we'll gonna discuss the yes, user group and permission in the next class. What permission is and what are those users. Then you can see that here also I am getting the permission denied. Then it is taking me to this, and now I am in the particular directory. If I am just running ls, so it is giving me all the file systems, right? But if I put this, now it will go me take me to the etc directory, because two level up, right? From this to this and this to this. So you can see it take me to the two level up, and it is etc. Now I ran the cd tilde, it take me to the my home directory. Now I ran cd slash dash, previous directory was etc, and I am again on etc. Right? So it is just simple, which we already done. But if you just still want to perform, so yeah, you are welcome to perform. And it's good to have hands-on on this, because if you are not spending your time on keyboard, right, then probably it will be a hard time going forward for us to remember. As of today, like this is, if you already know Linux, right, then well and good. But if you are a beginner and you are now you know, so okay, cd is something to change the directory, and this is the path, right, and this is the tree command, this is the lsblk command, and other commands, right? So my recommendation is don't miss any labs, perform each and every lab, so that you will have your uh, friendly nature with your keyboard now, and you will remember these commands. You don't need to look out your notes or any kind of document to remember all this, because these are kind of bread and butter for your system admin, right? These are the very essential command, very basic command, but yeah, it has to remember, right? So that's way it go. All right, so I think that's it for the day. It was short introduction to your file system in Linux, how it goes. We're gonna start the user group and inode, like how it looks and what are all those, and probably the permission in the next video. All right, guys. So I will meet you in the next video. And till then, stay safe, stay learning. Bye bye.